Hey guys, today I bring you a very long-term review of my car battery. And you might be wondering, what's so special about a car battery? Well, this battery was in my car for over 11 years. That's right, 11 years, over a decade, in a car that is over 30 years old. Three, two, one. 3 months later, cross your fingers, and there it is. Oh. This car has a build date of November of 1988. That's an 89 model. Incredibly well preserved. I love this car. Let's take a quick look at what a car battery actually is and how it came to be. And explaining it all in detail will be way beyond my capacity, but I like what I found online. A car battery at its core is a rechargeable lead-acid battery. It provides the initial jolt of electricity needed to start your engine. And it also powers your car's electrical accessories when the engine isn't running. Think of it as the heart of your car's electrical system. Inside, you'll find lead plates submerged in a sulfuric acid solution. A chemical reaction between these components creates the electrical current. When I had my Tesla, I assumed that an EV didn't have the traditional battery, but they do have the floor battery that powers the car and everything, but they also have a 12 battery near the front motor. The average lifespan of a car battery nowadays is typically between 3 to 5 years, and a lot of factors can affect this, including climate, driving habits, and the quality of the battery itself. I've had OEM batteries that came in new cars that lasted less than 2 years. Now, when it comes to choosing a car battery, you're faced with a lot of options. It's not just about price, it's also about reliability and longevity. But at the end of the day, you don't want to overspend on a battery if you don't plan to keep a car for too long. There are many brands out there, and I really don't pay too much attention to it. To be honest with you, in the last 20 years, I have only bought 2 batteries plus the one I put in this 830. And the last 2 times I had gone with Costco batteries for the return policy. Also, while doing research for this video, I found out that many brands are manufactured by the same companies, but that is not the case of this battery. DieHard and Duralast are not owned by the same entity. And I wish I could remember the name of the brand that came with my 2004 Acura T6 back then, but that battery died in less than 2 years. And when looking into the supplier of the OEM battery of my TSX, I ran into testimonies of people complaining about the premature death of their battery in their new car back then, some blogs from 2006. So what made my DieHard battery last so long? Honestly, I have no idea, but I think it was a combination of things. First, I regularly, if not daily, drove my BMW for over 10 years, which helped keep the battery charged. Second, I live in San Diego and we enjoy a relatively mild climate. And third, well, I think I just got lucky, but also the E30 is a super basic car, so it doesn't require a huge power bank to run accessories and things like that. I bought this car in May of 2013 and the seller gave me a stack of everything that was done to the car. This vehicle was a single owner vehicle that had spotless documented maintenance, and I was able to go back to the folder and found the original receipt for this battery that was bought new in February of 2013. This battery was sold by Sears, and Sears has been out of business for so many years now. And of course, even the best batteries eventually will wear out. And after almost 12 years, my DieHard battery finally gave up the ghost. But it did so after providing me with years of reliable service. And I can only speculate that this battery should still be going strong if it wasn't because I rarely drove my car in the last 6 months. Actually, in the last 15 months, it became a third car. So it went from collecting miles to collecting dust. And I say this because we must keep in mind that for the first 10 years, I did put a lot of miles on this car. I put an average of over 10,000 miles per year, which kept the battery super healthy. But then in December 2023, we bought a new car and this car became a third car. This E30 has the particularity that if you shut off the engine, the headlights turn off, but the parking lights remain on. So sometimes I inadvertently left the lights on only to come back to a drained battery. This happened maybe around 3 times that I can recall. And I'm not an expert, but I'm sure this type of incidents shorten the life of a car battery. This is a battery that came with the car when I bought this car 5.5 years ago. So I guess it's kind of old now. Also, in 2020, this vehicle survived 7 weeks of hibernation. I remember that at the beginning of the pandemic, my wife lost her job and I drove her new car, and I just didn't drive this car for over 7 weeks. And I was surprised that it started right away after such a long time. I'm gonna try to start my vehicle, my 1989 BMW 325i, also known as the E30. I haven't started that car in 74 days. I'm gonna try to start it right now. I can't believe it actually started. And the last time I drove this car was late December 2024, or about 3 months ago. It started fine, but I did notice a slow crank. And that day I remember going to the beach, I ran around town, put maybe around 20 miles only to park it again, and I didn't touch it for another 3 weeks. And then finally, in January 15th, the car just didn't start. Today is a very special day in the life of my E30 because I need to replace the battery. I mean, as much as I'm disappointed because I was on my way to my evening run at the beach, I'm just thankful for all these years of trouble-free life that this battery gave me. So this long-lasting battery was sold new in February of 2013 and was able to last start the car last December. That's 11 years and 10 months. I replaced it with a Duralast Gold battery, which is the exact comparable to the DieHard Gold, and I want to think that this one is of the same level of quality, but I doubt it. Manufacturing processes have changed to maximize profits, and I just don't know if a DieHard battery of today will be as good as the one from 2013. My BMW is back on the road, but I'll never forget the incredible longevity of this DieHard battery. And I will always keep it in my memory as the best battery I ever had in any car. This BMW is the car that I have ever kept the longest by far, and it's thanks to little gestures like this throughout my ownership. The car has been so solid, undeniably my best car ownership experience. Batteries in this form have been around since 1859, but it was not until 1912 that a car actually used a battery to start. It was a Cadillac, and before that, people had to crank their cars by hand, which was very hard and also dangerous. Batteries, you could open them from the top and service them just by putting water, fill the cells. Why would they run out of water? Don't ask me, your guess is as good as mine. I just remember those romantic times when you would just pop open the little lids on the top and then add water to the cells. This one that I bought has a 3-year replacement warranty, which is the same one as the DieHard that I replaced. I looked up the receipt and that battery was $176, which magically, if you convert it to today's money, is $240, and I paid $250 for this one. And being the same exact replacement or competing replacement, this one was about the same price, but I have to go back to AutoZone for a $20 core deposit. I wish I could have gone with DieHard just as a homage to the battery that he replaced, but unfortunately, local retailers don't carry it. The only retailer that has it is not near my house, and just logistically it didn't work. They didn't have it in stock. I would have to special order, I guess. So I just went with AutoZone. I could have gone with Costco too, but Costco didn't have the direct fit. They just don't carry it. And they told me I could bring the old battery and they could try to match it in size and shape because of where the terminals are. And I just didn't want to deal with it. This one is exactly the same shape as the one that replaces. And I looked at the specs and they're very similar actually. And is it gonna be as good as the one it replaced? I'm not sure, but if it gives me half the life of what the DieHard did give me, I'll be happy. I could have done a couple of things differently. I should have been a little bit more careful restarting this vehicle once in a while to be able to, to be able to get more life of this battery. I'd say I still had a few months worth of life if I would have been careful to start it maybe once a week or something. I put this video together because sometimes I feel that we're eager to write bad reviews, or you go to Yelp and put nastygrams on things or services that we believe are subpar or that we don't deserve. And we seldomly have the drive to go out of our way to write a good review. And honestly, I felt really passionate about 11 years of a battery. I just wish I would have been able to replace it with that DieHard battery as well, but it just didn't work for me logistically. I just couldn't wait. I couldn't do the legwork. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel for more car-related content. And let me know in the comments, what is the longest that you ever had a car battery last. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.